Christian knows, doesn't he?
It was a long time ago. You were different people then.
What's going on? I've never told anyone.
He deserves to know.
You've seen our family. Do you think that there's something wrong with the way that we live?
Why can't you just pretend?
Why'd you do it?
Greed, loyalty to a friend.
We don't keep things from each other.
You've done enough damage.
Why didn't you tell me? Stay out of our lives.
I'm sorry.
A lot of theatre is being kind of transformed into film or television. Is that purely, like, you know, this is obviously quite different. Some are quite similar to the theatre productions in terms of the script and things. But why do you guys think that it is becoming more and more popular to go back to something like that?
Two of the reasons in my mind are that usually the scripts are really well developed, like they've gone through a development period, and a lot of the time they've been proven with an audience. I mean, this story worked very well as The Wild Duck in Sydney, Melbourne, Oslo, Vienna, London. You know, it's had a resonance with audiences, so I suppose people have a bit more, had faith in kind of in funding them or turning them into films, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, if you look at kind of silent cinema at the very beginning of the kind of birth of cinema in the 10s and 20s, half the films that were getting made were based on plays. It's just plays that nobody even knows about anymore. They were plays that were on for a couple of weeks in, you know, Berlin or something and then got turned into, or plays that nobody kind of really remembers because they were so specific to their time that actually the document that you remember is the Hollywood film that was made out of it. Very incredibly common. Way more films than you or anyone might imagine were based on plays are based on plays.
Lion King is based on Hamlet.
Yeah, that's right.
If you liked The Lion King, you'd be the daughter.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually not such a bad parallel, The Lion King and the Daughter. You know, kind of similar kind of character conflicts. Young character, kind of on the cusp of needing to find themselves, has a kind of crisis relating to parent. Needs to find a way to survive.
Jeffrey's kind of Scar.
Yeah, Jeffrey is kind of Scar. But yeah, I mean, it's so I don't think it's such a new thing. I think that maybe people are doing it in Australia for the first time, like as prolifically as they are. But that's related to the people who are the current kind of crop of filmmakers, and that is that a lot of people making films at the moment happen to be people who are actors as well. And those people have worked a lot in theatre. So they kind of then steal the material that they already know quite well, and when they're making, you know, if you look at like Brendan Cowell or Jeremy Sims, me, the reason that we're doing that is because we've been kind of busy in our lives working in that kind of world, and it makes sense to use the material that you know well.
Everyone's got a story like this. It's as old as the hills.